Welcome back. So let's look at a solution for the exercise of creating an employee class and printing stuff out. And I've added a few extras to this solution, so you guys can use that if you want to. Instead of using the string builder, I've used another syntax that's fairly new inside the .NET framework, but I love it, so I want to show you guys how you can also print out strings. But let's get started from the beginning. First part of the assignment was to spell employee correctly. I didn't do that, so I failed, but still, you get the point. Employee class, where you need to add the properties. Now you should have already done that. That's fairly simple. Remember, the shortcut is prop, double tap, and then you can just type in whatever property you're looking for. So that's rather simple to do, and that's just adding the properties here. I'm all done. Now that was the first exercise. I'm just going over these very quickly with you because I want to extend on this now. I want to make some really cool application instead of this simple stuff. We need to initialize an employee object using the new keyword and fill in the values of the properties. Now I showed you a few different ways to do that, but I'm still in love with this way myself. So I just create a new employee, do the curly brackets, and then add the properties because it can autocomplete for me, so I can see what's available. Let me just remove this. I just think it's so nice. I just have a list right here, right out of the box, ready to populate. It's just easy to use. It's up to you how you want to use it. So that's how I populate him, and then I print the employee, and that's the next exercise. Print the employee information with the console log and overriding toString and using string builder. Now I hope you did that, because using the string builder is a good thing to learn. But I'm going to show you another way now. First of all, let's try to talk about how we override this toString function. And it's pretty much just writing override here, and then it'll pop up here. Now let me just remove this to show you exactly what's going to happen. When I write override and control space is an autocomplete. It's a way for you to use keys to autocomplete. So control space or control dot. Those will pop up with a list looking something like this, and here's the toString. I just select it, and now I've overridden the base toString. We'll get into superclasses very, very soon, but just think of this as a way for me to override a method that already exists. So instead of executing the base way of printing out stuff, I'll now go into my new way of printing out stuff. And what did I do there? Well, let's have a look at it. It looks like this now. So notice there's no string builder here. Instead, I'm using this new syntax where you start by putting in a $, and then you just add a string right after it. And then the cool thing is you can actually start putting in stuff inside curly brackets directly inside a string. So what does this guy actually reference to? Well, the name here actually references to the property name up here, right? So it means I can start putting C# code in here directly. I could write 1. I could write 10 times 2. I can start writing C# code inside my string. Yes! Finally! Thank you, Microsoft. I love it. Sorry about the bad wording there. I'll just probably cut that out. So this is a new way of writing the string. So I'll just write the name. I'll do a few tabs on a new line. I'll write the email. So these are ways for me to explain in a string to do the \t is like doing a tab. The \n is doing a new line. So that's also nice to know. Okay, so here we now have a toString. It's fairly long. We could split it up into multiple lines. I just didn't want to. And that's kind of the string we have. So that was that exercise. So now when I run the program, it'll print out the information about the employee in a very nice way. That was kind of what we aimed for here in exercise 3. Now with number 4, we're going to create a method that can calculate, and that's the guy right here. So I created a new method inside my employee that can actually take the salary level and time it by 700. And then it gets back a double value. Now we haven't talked about the double value, type that much yet. You can of course find it on tutorials teacher and look at what it is, but it's just a way for us to start creating digit-based values instead of just integer values. So instead of having a whole number, you can now do digits and get a comma sign in here and there. Good. So that's one way to get the calculated value out of the system. And how do I get that into my toString? Well, look at this. Because you can actually write C# code directly in here now, I can just call that function here. So I'm just calling that method right inside the string. Yes, you gotta love that. It's so easy. So it goes in and it takes your salary level, it times it by 700, and it returns a double value. and then it puts it inside this string in the to string, okay? But I can do it another way. So I also wanted to show you actually using, this is actually not a function. It's actually a property. So it's like these guys. But I extended the property saying, okay, when you call this property, you cannot set any value. You can just get a salary level times 700. That's all you can do. Let me show you how this works. So I could actually use this just as a property. Look at this. Let me go to the program here to show you, because I've printed out here the calculated salary, just like I did with the other properties, just a property now. I can do it like this. You can see we have the department, we have email, we have name. Remember, the wrenches means properties, but we also have a new property called calculated salary, but it's actually doing a calculation. What? That's crazy talk, but that is true. So inside properties, you can actually use the get and set. If you do it like this, it's just simple set or get the value. But if you do it like this, you can actually start doing calculations in here directly. We'll do more of these and you'll start understanding it as we move forward, but it's a really powerful thing. And notice there's only a get function here. There's no set. And what does that mean? That means that I cannot set a calculated salary in here. So I cannot say, employee, let's just set your salary, la la la, I want to give you this salary. No, that's not possible because there is no set value. So you cannot set the value, you can only get the value. Good. So that was 2 ways of actually solving exercise 4. Now let's look at exercise 5 here as the final thing. We're going to use the if statement and say if your calculated salary value is above 2,000, and I could use both. I could also use get calculated salary value. It's up to you. Either use the get calculated salary, which is a method, or use the property that just calculates it before it returns it. It's up to you. And if it's above 2,000, then it'll say you're filthy rich. And I even added the beautiful syntax so you can write C# code directly inside the string. Oh. If not, then talk to your boss. You need more money. Let's see if everything runs, and then I'll end this lesson and we'll extend on this. Give it a second. I'm so excited. Yeehaw! It runs, and look at my salary. Oh, that is awesome. And that's a monthly salary, and it is true. I really do earn that much. No, I don't. See you in the next lessons where we'll start having fun making something a lot more complex.